Sometimes things are tricky, you know what I mean? And it's a little bit more difficult than just making the fight happen. But like I said, I'm pushing to make the big.
Could the so-called Mexican monster, the fighter who spent years trying to secure a fight with Canelo, really have turned down a huge showdown with today's pound-for-pound king, Terence Crawford?
After the Canelo-Crawford fight, asking like, hey, could you maybe come down?
Just as the excitement reached its peak, David Benvdz stepped in and shut the rumors down himself. His reason caught fans off guard, but the truth behind the decision revealed a smart move that changes how people view his future. This was more than just another career decision. It was Benavidez leaving the past behind and preparing for a completely new chapter. He's now ready to handle his career on his own terms and in a different division. The September 13th fight night was already unforgettable, with Terence Crawford doing what many thought was impossible by moving up in weight and taking control against the legendary Canelo Alvarez.
And he looked spectacular. Congratulations to Terence Crawford for that great performance. And man, it was a great fight.
Were you expecting more from Canelo?
I was expecting a lot more. I was expecting Canelo to knock out Crawford, to be honest with you, because it's a three-weight divisions. Well, he did fight one time the higher division, but and to me, it's three ways. You know, he had to go up a lot in weight, and that's what I was expecting. But at the end of the day, you know, I got to give respect to Canelo. You know, he has done so much in boxing that it will be hard for somebody else to achieve and make. He trained hard, you know, and he said that he tried, but the body did not respond. And I've been saying that, you know, the body is worn out, you know. Canelo is young, but in boxing life.
While the boxing world was still reacting to Terence Crawford's incredible victory, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh went straight to social media and asked one big question. Can David Benvdz still make 168 pounds? That single comment instantly turned a dream matchup into something that felt very real. Benvdz, still undefeated with a 30-0 record, 24 knockouts, and multiple world titles, had already built a reputation as one of the most dangerous fighters in the division, and someone many believed Canelo Alvarez stayed away from for years. A fight between Crawford's elite boxing skills and Benvdz's brutal power suddenly looked like the perfect clash boxing fans had been waiting for. The excitement was huge, the money was there, and one of the sport's most powerful figures was clearly teasing the possibility.
I love the way he lives his life. I love the way he brings his kids. You know, if you watch his kids with the wrestling and stuff like that, he's just a winner. And I feel that, you know, you got guys who are really, really, really good, and they're not really hell-bent on becoming a star. I put you in that category. I put Terence in that category. Maybe Shakur, where they feel like they don't really want to, like, Terence ain't bothered about going to premieres and, you know, like being on the front cover of magazines and stuff like that. But unfortunately, in the business, we have to try and make sure he has that kind of value commercially. So it's getting the narrative.
What first seemed like the perfect dream fight suddenly turned into a disappointing dead end. David Benvdz quickly shut down all the speculation and made it clear there was no misunderstanding his position. During an interview with Fight Hub TV, Benvdz firmly stated that his time in the super middleweight division was officially over.
This fight, I want to go down to 154. Nah, bro. I'm done with cruiserweight. You know, I want to take this opportunity, though. Yes.
I want to take this moment to give Terence Crawford the respect he truly deserves. What he accomplished was incredible, and he belongs among the all-time greats. He should enjoy this success because I have no interest in fighting him, and I'm not returning to 168 pounds. My focus is on moving up to cruiserweight, and that's the path my career is taking from here on out.
I want to take this opportunity, though. Yes, I say cruiserweight. I want to take this opportunity to, you know, congratulate Crawford. You know, he put a hell of a performance. He's up there in the Mount Rushmore of the greatest fighters of all time. And, you know, let Crawford do his thing, bro. You know, at the end of the day, I have no interest in fighting Crawford. I have no interest in going down to 168. I mean, yeah, it's nice that it would be dope winning all titles, but
His message was impossible to misunderstand. This wasn't some negotiation tactic or a move for attention. It was a final decision. David Benvdz made that even clearer when he said he wouldn't return to 168 pounds, even for a fight with Canelo Alvarez. He admitted that Terence Crawford is now the top fighter in the division and made it clear that chapter of his career is officially over.
I wouldn't even go down to 168 for Canelo, and I'm just being real with you, and let Crawford do his thing, let him have his, let him, I want to give his flowers, man, because he's a great fighter, man. There's no other fighter that's coming up from 147 to beat a type of fighter like Canelo at 168, and Crawford, he's one of the greatest of all time. So, I have no interest in going down to 168. I'm not saying that I'm scared of Crawford or whatever, but Crawford's a man at 168. That's his weight class.
When he was asked whether a huge $120 million payday could convince him to return, David Benvdz rejected the idea immediately. That response made it clear that this decision had nothing to do with money. For Benvdz, something far bigger mattered more than the paycheck.
David, if they throw 100 million, 120 million to go down for either or, would you second?
20 million sounds good, but honestly, at the end of the day, no. No.
Say no to 100 million.
But they won't give 120 million. I don't even think Canelo got 120 million for fighting Crawford, to be honest with you, but no, man.
The real reason behind David Benvddz's decision goes far beyond the struggle of making weight. This marks a major shift in his career and a clear sign that he's aiming for something bigger and more ambitious. He isn't avoiding a fight, he's choosing to pursue a completely new challenge.
I mean, and my job is not only to get the money, my job is to give myself the best chance to win and to give myself the best chance.
David Benvdz has officially moved up to the light heavyweight division at 175 pounds and is now focused on facing the biggest names in that weight class. His next goal is a major showdown against Britain's Anthony Yarde, with the fight expected to take place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
This fight came about because I was surprised that you went this route with Yarde.
Yeah, so there was a lot of options on the table. Obviously we wanted to get a great fight because the last fight with me and David Benvdz lived up to expectation. I think it exceeded expectations. So we wanted to give the fans a good fight. We were in line for Bivol for the belts, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So we were looking, to get a crowd pleasing fight, and we're trying to fight the best in the division of 175. If it's not the champions, we want to fight the next best guys. We're looking at some options, but the only one that really manifested itself was the fight with Anthony Yarde, and I think this is a crowd-pleasing fight. Anthony Yarde, he's a great fighter. He still has a ton of fight in him. He's been in there with Artur, Beterbiev, Kovalev. So he's been up there with, the top guys, and I feel like this is probably going to be the most he comes prepared for any fight because he's lost his last two title fights, and I feel like he knows that this is probably the last opportunity, not his last opportunity, but this is, he has to take advantage of this opportunity. So I'm not taking Anthony Yarde lightly. I know he has a dog in him, I know he has a lion in him, but I have the lion in me as well. So this is going to be a perfect fight for
He sees this move as more than just a chance to grow his global fame. It's also a crucial step in David Benvdz's mission to reach the very top of the 175-pound division.
Not only am I grateful for fighting with Riyadh season, but I'm grateful because I don't want to just be a regional fighter. I want to be a worldwide fighter, and this is the first time that I'm going to fight in a different country, in Saudi Arabia. So this is going to be it's going to be a gift for the fans in Saudi Arabia. When I went over there the first time to see Bivol and Beterbiev fight, a lot of people show love, and I know I have a lot of fans out there. So, this is going to be a great fight.
David Benvdz is fully confident he'll get the win, and he believes it will open the door to even bigger fights against top champions like Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev. For him, building a legacy isn't about going back to a division he already ruled. It's about stepping forward into the hardest challenges in front of him. He's focused on real greatness, not just big money fights. And right now, he sees that path at light heavyweight.
75 pounds, you have the undisputed champion in Dmitry Bivol, who's reigning, but he has we think, a rubber match with Artur Beterbiev scheduled at some point. Has it been told to you, David, that if you win this fight, you're going to get a crack at either Bivol or Beterbiev?
Yeah, it's not, they haven't told me specifically that, but, just in the trajectory of what I'm doing, what I am, I'm world champion at 175 with the WBC, so it's inevitable. It's just when it's going to happen. I take my career one fight at a time. I don't really let other fights kind of get into my brain. You know, I'm getting ready for Anthony Yarde. I'm 100% focused on Anthony Yarde, and whatever comes next, comes next. But as for what I'm thinking of, you know, that's what else is there left? What other fights you guys want to see me fight? You know what I mean? Especially that we're here with Turki Al-Sheikh. We're getting these fights done. In my opinion, a fight with Beterbiev or Bivol.
But David Benvdz wasn't the only one stepping away from this potential mega fight. In an unexpected twist, Terence Crawford's side also showed no real interest. Crawford's longtime trainer Brian McIntyre quickly shut down the idea of Benavidez being next in line. When asked about the fight, he was direct and left no room for debate, saying they were not taking that matchup. He also explained that their priority now is for Crawford to rest and recover after a demanding 6-month camp for the Canelo fight.
We're going to get back in the gym, and we're going to assess that. And, you know, right now I just want him to go on vacation, have some fun, spend time with his family, man, because we trained for like probably a half a year for that fight. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of time spent away from home, a lot of time spent away from the family. So I just want him to just go.
He wanted Terence Crawford to take a break, go on vacation, and spend time with his family instead of jumping straight into another demanding fight. Bo Mac's comments made one thing clear: this matchup was never really in Crawford's team's immediate plans. In the end, the story wasn't just about David Benvdz walking away. It was about two elite fighters moving in completely different directions, with neither side seeing the other as part of what comes next.
Canelo,
Turkey dropped. You know, people are talking about it. Turkey hit it at that. He was like Benavidez. Yeah, he Turkey, did. So Turkey just posted that this morning, wondering if Benavidez can make 168. Maybe he has plans or ideas of maybe trying to match up Benavidez and Terence Crawford.
No, that fight.
Maybe planning on vacating the belts.
No, we ain't gonna vacate the belts. You know, we just gonna sit where we need to sit for a minute, and then just like I said.
So with the dream fight against Terence Crawford now off the table, the big question is what comes next for the Mexican powerhouse. David Benvdz is already thinking beyond light heavyweight, with goals that stretch even higher. If fights with champions like Dmitry Bivol or Artur Beterbiev fail to come together, he already has a backup route, moving up to Cruiserweight at 200 pounds for a massive showdown with fellow Mexican puncher Zordo Ramirez. He sees that potential clash as a high-risk battle and a major global attraction that fans would not want to miss. This mindset shows he is completely locked in on chasing the toughest fights in boxing, regardless of weight class. He's not interested in easy paydays or showcase bouts. His focus is real competition, world titles, and building a long-lasting legacy among the sport's elite, even if it means entering unfamiliar and dangerous territory. In the end, this is bigger than just one Moss super fight. It highlights a clear choice to step away from the expected path and create his own. Some may call it avoidance, while others see it as strategy. But either way, David Benvdz is steering his own direction. Instead of waiting for opportunities, he's actively building them by moving through tougher divisions and chasing bigger names. That approach carries real risk. It could elevate him into all-time great status or put his unbeaten record in serious danger. But one thing is clear, he isn't standing still, and he is committed to moving forward on his own terms.